So, on an average, each person throws away 1,200 pounds of trash every year, which happens to be a lot of trash. And that trash has to go somewhere. So, where exactly does all this trash end up going? Well, mainly trash all goes into landfills where it's burned and then buried, or sometimes instead of being burnt, it's just buried. But also, trash ends up in our oceans and also right in our backyards. Like sometimes when you hike, you'll see trash in the grass while you're hiking, or on the side of the highway, you'll see trash, or, you know, basically everywhere you'll see trash somewhere. Um, so, how does all this trash have an impact on our environment and on ourselves? So, first off, with the trash being in landfills and in the ocean, it actually directly impacts our wildlife. So there's a lot of videos on the news and on social media of, like, you see dolphins getting caught up in the little ring thingies that hold your water bottles, and there's one of a turtle getting a straw stuck up his nose. So trash affects our wildlife, and when it affects our wildlife, since we eat some of our wildlife, it can directly impact us and our health as well. On top of that, with trash going into our soil, with that, trash not only is trash, but also the chemicals that are made with some of the trash is unsafe and unhealthy, and releases chemicals into the soil and into the air, and causes a lot of pollutants in the air and pollutants in our soil, which isn't good for us or the environment. Another thing is, when you throw away a piece of trash, it's trash. That's the end of its life. So when you get rid of an object, you have to get something in order to make a new object. And that you have to tap into your raw materials, meaning your trees, which means, deforestation with the woods and the rainforest. And eventually, if we keep tapping into our raw materials, there will be no more raw materials to tap into, which could be a serious problem for the human race. So how do we change these negative things, or how do we at least make a dent on making a positive impact and reversing all these negative impacts? And that is recycling. So just to be clear on what exactly recycling is when you have an object and you use the materials from that object to make a new object. So almost like refurbishing. So instead of having to go out and get new materials for an object, you just make the object from the other object you've recycled. So recycling helps with these negative impacts because, first things first, recycling can be reused, so it doesn't go to a landfill and it doesn't go anywhere. So when it doesn't go into a landfill, it lessens the things that are being buried and put into our soil and going into our air. So it helps with lessons pollutants and unhealthy chemicals that are being released into our environment. Another thing is, like I said, when you recycle, you're taking an object and reusing the object to make something else. So there's no need to tear down trees or rainforest or anything like that, because you don't need to, because you already have the materials you need to make something right in front of you. The other thing is it helps with the cleanup initiative that's going on, where people are trying to clear trash out of the ocean and clear trash out of like the woods and stuff. It helps lessen the incoming trash that could end up there. And another thing that's very important to not only us but also to the government is recycling is cost efficient, and you can actually save a lot of money by recycling, because like I said, you don't have to go out and get new materials to make an object. So for an example, like Apple, the company that makes your iPhones, your MacBooks, your iPads, stuff like that, they've saved over $40 million a year by just recycling their products into helping make new products. And so it's just very cost efficient and it helps the environment. So just to make sure that we're recycling properly, what can we recycle and what's safe to recycle? So I have a couple examples here. Mainly you can recycle cardboard, plastics, metals, glass. So like this is a cardboard box that a lot of people have, cereal box. Water bottles is a huge one, because when you go to leave your house, you grab a water bottle. All those water bottles can be recycled. Here I have a can of soup, and of course when the food's out of it, you just rinse it out and you can recycle this. You can even recycle your little solo cups that you have at parties, plastic shakers that have ingredients and stuff in them. You can recycle all these. And you can also recycle newspapers that you're finished with, magazines that you don't care to read, mail, anything, paper, cardboard, plastic, or glass, you can always recycle, and it just helps with the environment and making a positive impact. So you can also recycle bigger things that around your house, like you can recycle TVs, computers, cell phones, furniture. So basically, just look around your house, things you want to get rid of, and see if you can recycle it. And if you're not sure, you can always Google to see if you can recycle it, or also on the bottom of containers and stuff like this, there will be the little recycling logo, which is the triangle that has the arrows in the little trash can in the middle. So if we all would just recycle and have a little bit less trash, it would help with the environment and the animals, and when the environment's better, us and our lives and our health are also better. So if each of us just recycled one object a day, it would really have a positive impact because you would lessen the trash and it would help us as well as our health.